We are, said a spokesperson. Welcome to the first live of 2025. Well, I never. So welcome to the body of the Kirk. Happy New Year to you too. If I haven't seen you since, I hope you had a lovely Merry Christmas. That's Christ Mass, not holidays. But then again, you know, if you're some kind of bloody heathen, hope you had a nice holiday. Didn't choke on anything, so to speak. But welcome to 2025, the first live, 1st of January 2025. I know. Where did 2024 go? Well, thankfully it went. I'm not going to make any predictions about 2025 other than hang on to your britches. I think it's going to be a lively one. Because if, you know, the evil elite want us to go down one route and we are forcefully refusing, then I think it might get lively. Just, what can I say? Hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin. Buck says, Happy New Year, all. Hang on, did I say that right? Happy New Year, all. Buck, welcome to the body of the Kirk, along with everybody else. There's still some space in the pews. Hopefully you can get in, but Buck was early doors tonight, just to make sure he could hear this evening's sermon. Paulie Galtieri, keen as mustard, Paulie. Happy New Year, Adrian. Yeah, utter wrongin'. Happy New Year to you too, Paulie. Thank you very much. Stuart says, oh, evening, Adrian. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you too, Stuart. And by the way, thank you for the new bottle of Jaeger bombs. We needed to get colder. I do understand, you know, after they said Snowmageddon was coming, and it didn't. And then they went, oh, it's going to get a bit windy. And, well, it's like a summer's day in Scotland. And they spoil sports, stopped their, they stopped their, they call it hogmanay. They stopped their hogmanay for the Central Belt, which was such a shame. Because having lived in Edinburgh, it is a thing of beauty. It is fantastic. And the fireworks are also good. Congratulations to London. I think it was probably the best firework display in the world ever. I mean, it was kind of overkill. At the end of the London fireworks, I'm sure you can find it anywhere on YouTube, it's kind of like the sun got switched on and it was just white and red and blue. And who thought about putting the Union Jack on what do they call it now? It was going to be, it was the London Eye. Remember when it was the London Eye? And I'm sure it was in the year 2000, where it was going to be bought out by some Japanese conglomerate. I mean, can you imagine if they had? It would have been the world's biggest Jap's eye. And then it's now, I don't know what it's called now, London Eye, big wheel. And we had the Union flag in the middle of it. And I was thinking, hang on, Sadiq allowing the Union flag. Because it's not a jack until it's flown on the jack staff of a boat. It's always the Union flag. And, Lord Carnage doesn't like it. So I'm surprised he didn't have any number of other flags stuck on the London Eye. But I thought the fireworks were marvellous. No drones this year. No drones. No. Do you know that Elon Musk's brother runs an international drone company? But maybe you've seen the Chinese attempt. Sorry, I just saw a little alert that came up. Is this Sandra Wytham in the house tonight, or is she watching the footy? Wrongin'. So, Stuart, apologies. Evening, Adrian. Happy New Year to you. I just want to thank you for all your great work on the channel in 2024. Long may your great work continue in 25. Now, enjoy the first Jaeger hibiscus of the new year. Thank you, Stuart. Yeah. I don't know whether you're feeling tired and emotional, whether it was a late night last night and you had to have a granddad, grandma nap this afternoon just to keep you going so you could watch this live. I tell thee, oh, bloody hell. blimey, very well attended so far this evening. So thank you, Stuart. I'd have a grandad nap this afternoon because it was a late night, and I do notice that I didn't see many polis around. Not at first. I mean, I get that New Year's Eve and New Year's Day night shift is the busiest shift of the year, but there was some utter lunatics on the main arterial routes last night that I encountered, driving way, way, way above the speed limit. So I would suggest that, A, they weren't drinking, they were on something, probably on the sniff or something, but something that was keeping them up and driving like bloody Lewis Hamilton in a Formula One race. So I had to make sure that I drove defensively and kept the First Lady of the Kirk in safety. But I genuinely, I don't scare easily, but there was a lot of idiots driving around last night, which gave great cause for concern. I did have a word with the bishop this morning, and I said, how can we help the youth of today? And he said, well, why don't we help them take up boxing? Why don't we start a boxing club in the Kirk? And I said, are you sure you want all these ne'er-do-wells, these miscreants, these scum-sucking pond life to take a battering in the ring? Well, he said, if it's good enough for the Pope. Andrew James said, Stuart, here, can you ask the Rev if it's okay for me to come into the Kirk? Well, of course, Andrew, why not? The bishop is not happy. Uh-oh. What happened in the New Year's Eve party? Well, let me tell you, congregation, that, we have a New Year's Day missive, a New Year's Day newsletter from the body of the Kirk that I shall read to you for your entertainment, information, and, for you to, know what's going on. The party was... what can I say? It was some party, that disco. Bugger me. Oh, back to the bishop again. Yes, I will read that in just a moment. I will give you the first newsletter of 2025. The Bad Wolf Project says, breaking news, the DFS sofa starts at 10 a.m. in the morning. I always thought... No, I know the DFS sale is like a permanent sale. It's on 12 months of the year or 11 months and 2 weeks of the year. Just so they can say, yeah, it's discounted. Obvs. But I always thought that there was, like Black Friday. Black Friday has suddenly become Black History Month and Black Shopping Month and Black Everything Month. Well, it's not actually a month. It's like 2 or 3 months before Christmas because they think that by telling us, oh, it's a discount Friday. Yeah, spend all your money. We've got none. So after the shafting we've had over the last 4 years, and they go, it's Black Friday. Yeah, good luck. Thanks very much. No, I won't be buying a suite from DFS. Permanently on sale. And when I was a kid, it was always, Boxing Day, it's holidays. And now people are like, am I going to get on the same plane as Sir Keir Starmer? No, I think I'll just have a holiday in this country. I don't want to take the chance. And I don't know whether people buy holidays on Boxing Day. It's all propaganda. It's all hype. And as I've said many times before, as Public Enemy once opined, don't believe the hype. Anyway, back to your comments. The moderator, right, there's a community notice before we get started. The church committee would like to address last week's custard cream incident. All biscuits are welcome, but please dunk responsibly. We can't have wet custard creams, at least we think that's what it was, in the pews. Anybody seen Celibate Sinner Tracy or Tracy the Celibate Sinner recently? We know what it could have been. Peace, not crumbs on earth, said a spokesperson. But the big lad upstairs, whilst he's playing his harp and wearing his wings and his halo, he doesn't want his house soiled. So please, dunk responsibly, according to the moderator. Johnny Ray says, hey, good to see some early birds here. Hope everyone had a brilliant new year. Battenbergs at the ready, says Johnny Ray. Johnny, thank you very much. Happy New Year, sir. Oh, by the way, I better keep on the right side of the moderator. Happy New Year to the moderator, whoever she may be. Oh, hang on a second. Stuart and Andrew, I've got 2 messages from the Rev. First is tell Andrew James he's always welcome in the body of the kirk. Always, Andrew. And the second is leave the bishop to him. He'll have words. I did. But the bishop is very keen to, community service and letting everyone take a battering in the ring. What they're going to do? Bring Mike Tyson in? 12-ounce gloves, or do we have MMA mitts? Super Ted, good to see you back in the body of the kirk. Good result for the borough. I'll be watching Sunderland and you at the same time, Adrian. Super Ted, yeah, utter wrongin'. It's very exciting at the top of the championship. That's why I want to know if Sandra Wytham's in the body of the kirk this evening, or if she's gone to watch the match. I understand they've got a few key players not playing this evening. It's all about the injuries. We've got just shite. So unless they score a couple of own goals for us, not sure that we're going to. But then again, who am I? Brian Clough? So thank you, Super Ted. Happy New Year to you also. Viv Kenyon, Happy New Year. All you wrong'uns. And of course, our ranting Rev, who's on his way. Can't wait for tonight's Simon, beer, banter and Battenberg for 2025. Sitting comfortably, Viv and Darlow. Viv and Darlow, welcome to the body of the kirk. Hopefully you can get a comfortable seat. And Happy New Year to you too. Thank you very much for your salutations. Oh, hang on. I'll leave that to the moderator. Soul Rebel. Good shout, Wolfie. Rumour has it the American Golf Shop has a sale on too. Very good American golf. I've bought a few bats from there before. If you know what I say, you know what I mean. Andrew James, thank you to Stuart, mate. I will sit quietly and hide behind the tallest bloke in the kirk. Who would that be then? We're all midgets. Soul Rebel, where's my manos? Evening, fellow wrong'uns. We're getting more, getting their feet under in the pews. The moderator's back again. I'm led to believe that Talblock Tracy has a slightly soiled recycle offer on adult toys. One careless owner, but offering free postage. Careless? Was it covered in chocolate? Was it a careless whisper? Listen, that's the best you're going to get tonight. I'm telling thee. Thank you. Oh, Tracy, the celibate sinner, Andrew James, shocked co-workers after questionable photos surfaced of him holding a packet of Brook Bond tea and an inflatable sheep and what looks like a welding rod. Well, it's a broad church is the body of the kirk, so all are welcome except the real big perverts, Savile-esque, Harris-esque. You know who I'm talking about. Hugh Edwards would never be allowed in this body of the kirk, ever. We've got a couple of bouncers on the door, so talking about celibate sinner Tracy again. The Bovril is in the body of the kirk this evening all, and Happy New Year. I have mounted a plaque. Have you really? Did you do it in public and did you get arrested? The Bovril. I've mounted a plaque in the kirk in remembrance of the great Johnny Walker. I'm sure the Rev will approve. I do wholeheartedly. Thank you, the Bovril, for the consideration. Johnny was a bit of a character, which we will talk about a little bit later. Karen Ball, Happy New Year, everyone. I dread to think what's coming this year. All of us, hopefully. Not all at once, of course. Well, we will talk about that this evening because I shall leave Psychic Adrian alone for this evening because we'll have a little balance. We might have a quiz. I've got 100 questions, so we could have a quiz this evening. Thank you to the Scarlet Pimpernel, who organised that. The choir boys have been very remiss. I have to say, it's not too cold in the body of the kirk this evening. It is going to get colder, but the choir boys have been missing. MIA. Is it MIA? Missing in action? I'm not quite sure what they've been up to, but the bishop has been very keen to be in the body of the kirk over the festive period. He's allowed me to give my sermons, but don't know. Been in a bit of a weird mood. I won't bash the bishop this evening, but I will. Thank you, Andy. Thank you very much. I have got legendary Battenbergers that I will mention in just a moment, but it is it is very responsible of me as a man of the cloth, well, man touching cloth, that I welcome everyone in and allow everyone to get their feet under the table. I think there might be an element of, well, a few might have an early evening this evening, so might not make too much of the live tonight because, well, it was a very late night last night. I'm not quite sure what time you got to bed, let alone if you got to bed. Yeah, utter wrongin'. Neil Cunningham, oh, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Neil. Good to have you back in the body of the cook. Forgive my manners. I hope I said Happy New Year to Karen Boo. And Des Ashton, Happy New Year, you utter wrong'uns. Happy New Year, Des. I will be in touch. Mad Matt UK, good evening, Rev. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to you all. And Happy New Year to you too, Mad Matt. And Tucker 69, Lord Tucker of the 69. Happy New Year to you, bunch of utter wrong'uns. Thank you, Lord Tucker of the 69. And I think it's everyone just chatting. And we'll get to that. Brilliant. So, Happy New Year to all the parishioners. Hopefully spread the word in 2025. We would like more watching the live because, well, as I have said many times before, just remember, those that are not willing to tell the truth for... Oh, sorry, Sheffield United have just missed a penalty. Those that are not willing to tell the truth for nothing are always going to be in a position to be bought off. So that's why these lives are free and will stay free. It's live 137 tonight, 138 on Sunday. So we're getting back into the rhythm of our usual Wednesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. Yes, of course I have some plans. I'm not going to mention them because in the early days of the channel, I was mentioning them and we were being thwarted and halted by various things, whether it be technical stuff or other things. So there are some exciting bits and pieces. I've had some interviews confirmed, one very famous, and they've asked if we could delay it until the new year. So we are doing stuff. We're up to stuff. But these lives are set in stone, Sundays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. So I do hope that everyone is, if not sober, is allowing the body to process all the bloody alcohol you drank last night, you utter wrong. Who's that? Elizabeth Casey. Newbie. Elizabeth, thank you very much. Happy New Year. And thank you. Elizabeth Casey, can't even say it, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Casey, thank you. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, and for all the newbies that either post or make themselves make us aware that they're in the body of the Kirk, then I always feel that as a gentleman I should pop their cherry. Consider yours popped, Elizabeth. Andy Turner's in the body of the Kirk, DJing till 2, home in bed by 3:30. So I'm cream cracked. Blimey, Andy, well done for last night. There's been many a time where in December, I used to work the nightclubs in the northeast, sort of South Shields and Newcastle. And I'd be sort of doing radio shows during the day, and then I'd go out and start doing parties at 7 and then do my main club at 10 and get home about 3 o'clock in the morning, then get back up and do the early breakfast show an hour later. Oh, the exuberance of youth. But it was such exciting times. So this evening, who's that? Peter Sadler. What's alcohol? It's what's coming out of your pores, Pete. Tom Harneys, hi everyone, bit late but I'm here. Happy New Year everyone, Happy New Year to you Tom, and to Dragster46, newbie. There you go, Dragster46, well and truly popped. But welcome to the body of the Kirk. There's free altar wine at the front. I don't mind if you walk around during my sermon this evening, but please be respectful and don't stand in front of everybody else that's trying to grab the grog and or the Battenberg. Battenberg is holy Battenberg in this particular body of the Kirk because, well, we know what it makes when it comes out of that particular holy. So welcome, Dragster46. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. So tonight I have lots to say, lots of different things to say, and I was caught betwixt and between. I didn't know whether to do kind of a completely serious one because there's lots of stuff going on. Oh, I can't wait to stick it right up that bloody Bolshevik bastard called Starmer. Oh, sorry. I was getting a bit like, he just, I mean, it's a natural. That's the way I react to the man. He's a, anyway, Starmer the Harmer, queer Starmer, I think queer as folk, because I could never understand him or that face that he pulls. Like, oh, somebody's just stuck a finger up my derriere. Who's done that? Is that you, Victoria? So we'll kind of do some bits and pieces, but I will in a moment. I'll tell you what the sermon is going to include this evening, and then we'll get into the newsletter because it's very important for the regulars and the newbies that are in the body of the Kirk this evening. My name is Adrian Allen. I am the Irreverent Reverend, and I do say things that really I shouldn't say. And I let out secrets of the rich, famous and powerful that really I shouldn't be saying, but I'm going to do loads of that tonight as well. So welcome to everyone. First one of the year, live 137. The sermon tonight is going to include the New Year's Day newsletter, which I'm about to read to you. Might take me a few minutes. Thank you to the body of the Kirk, choir boy Shakespeario, Andrew James. We're going to talk America. Have you seen what's going on in America? Oh, my Lord. 19 days to go. We'll talk about the evil in this world because there seems to be a fair amount of it. Things to make you go, do some of those. We're going to have a quiz. I've got 100 quiz questions ready and waiting. So we'll kind of do the newsletter. We'll do some other bits and pieces. And then, if you wish, we'll get into the quiz. It's certainly one way. Thank you, Stuart. Happy New Year to you too, sir. It's much appreciated. Hang on, let's have a look, see if the Bovril starting the year off on a good footing. Thank you very much, the Bovril. I do appreciate it all. And thank you to Andy B. So we'll get cracking. Except I know that the parishioners of this particular body of the Kirk, we've set out 100 questions. Some of them are easy, some of them are medium, semi, I think, because there's nothing better than a good semi, really. And then it's hard. Must be the Viagra. So we'll do that, but you have to be honest Injun. If you don't know the answer, don't be bloody Googling it. Yeah, utter wrong. But Andrew James has sent a newsletter through to the body of the Kirk today. And Andrew says, wow, what a party. Oh, I think you need to explain yourself, Andrew. The Rev will need to sit in a dark room for a while, either after the wild party antics or giving bare-knuckle fighting a go, or that he is disappointed in some members of the parish. Life is just one continual disappointment. I do love a bit of bare knuckle. The First Lady is gearing up to speak with the flock soon, and so will the Rev if he ever recovers. I am telling you, I am ever grateful to Stuart for the free Jägermeister, but Jäger Bomber Biscuits, I think it's a thing of the future. It has to be a thing because it's bloody lovely. My Lord. Nectar of the gods. So as for the bishop, well, he lost, apologies, it was the Jaeger bomb. As for the bishop, well, he was completely and utterly lost control of himself. Oh, I say, didn't burst his incontinence pants again, did he? If you're wondering about Marvin Sawdust, he left in a huff like a 1990s Madonna tribute act after being called a smoggy. Oh, I say. Maybe one night I'll tell you about the difference between a Geordie, a Mackham and a smoggy. Ne'er the twain shall meet. And he told he's not from the northeast. Marvin threw a hissy fit and stormed off, obviously with his fee, proving he must be from the northeast. Words hurt, Rev. With Marvin gone, we had one less act but gained an extra costume. Oh, I say, it's one of those parties. We might as well turn the Kirk into a hard rock cafe. Kiss and She is becoming so popular that they might headline Download next year. Even Kerrang! Magazine has taken more notice, even without a record label. Oh, I say, they are gaining traction. There's a gag in there, but I'm not sure it's not for a family channel, to be fair. Like Retro on his bikes when he goes sailing around the Cape Horn, gaining traction. Like wearing a ribbed condom. I was told that several fans in the church are fans of the China Crisis band. Let me tell you, choir boy Andrew, I have actually interviewed China Crisis, and they were lovely. Lovely. I did it at Rock FM in the Northwest. So I have to say, China Crisis, I am a fan. I tried to book them for a party. It sounded very promising. As I mentioned, the church is tight on funds. You can say that again. But they can have some tea by Stuart, done in his James Bond style. And all the Battenberg their heart desires. Oh, you know, had you wished, as they say in the northeast of England, just be careful there, young Andrew. We don't want to give away all the Battenberg. There'll be none left for the newbies that are in the chat this evening. Gary then booked me, wide-eyed, and called me a caring, understanding 90s type. No, surely not. But more directly, in his native tongue. Eddie shuddered and then looked at me with utter disdain over Zoom. I can feel a fight coming on. Stand-up sensation Mad Matt UK delivered an excellent stand-up routine. I have heard that about Mad Matt UK. He is a stand-up member of the community. It was a belter, according to young Andrew, the choir boy Shakespeare. We're not sure if the bishop got the joke about the king, queen, bishop and the two knights on a chessboard, but the double entendre was brilliant. Even the First Lady got a kick out of it. Sadly, it's too crude and vulgar to print here, even for this. For some reason, the Rev didn't get it either. It must be a regional thing. The joke about the Archbishop of Canterbury with the pork sausages even made the Rev spit out his hibiscus tea. No spitting of the hibiscus, please. It's bad enough having those melted custard creams from last week. Yes, where was I? The First Lady will be giving Mad Matt UK the dry cleaning bill in person. Mad Matt, I'll come and protect you. She can get wild and has a really solid left hook, by the way. Not that I'm letting any secrets out. Gourmet Glory. Can we have a round of applause, please, for Stuart, Theo Bovril and Kathy Harper? Their posh sandwiches are becoming the talk of the town, earning rave reviews in Restaurant Insider. Now, you might soon be heading to the States to cater for the Swaggarts Church in Louisiana. I have sinned. I know what sin is, so give me your money. Not like that in this particular body of the Kirk. Jimmy Swaggart, Coke and Horse. That'll be a theme that's running through this evening's live. We'll get to Johnny Walker later, but the Swaggarts. The Rev knows them very well, very well. However, please make sure there is enough food for the Hell's Angel MC next time. Oh no. You know what happened the last time somebody tried to hire the Hell's Angels? It were Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. Oh dear. We don't want that in the body of the Kirk. After they drank their booze and cleared the buffet. Fat tarts. No, that's the food, not the Hell's Angel bikers, before you say anything. Yeah, utter wrong. They started to eat the plates and beer bottles. That's not a first for them, to be fair. Yes, they ate them like they were pieces of chicken. There will be more info about the Hell's Angel MC in the newsletter. We've got a bit of musical mayhem. When I told in the field about Marvin Sawdust and China Crisis, he stepped up to the plate for the first time. Is that one of the plates that the Hells Angels ate? Since becoming a Kirk member in the field, got all suited and booted, so he was presentable to scout bands like a Brian Epstein character. In the field, all over Yorkshire and into unknown territories and some uncharted streets and uncharted street corners. Oh, I say, I'd heard those rumours about Brian Epstein on his trusted unicycle. Good enough for today's politicians? Hang on a second. Is anybody watching the footy? Sunderland just scored. Sorry, did that just slip out? Hang on, I must get back into the rhythm of things. Somebody scored. Hopefully it's Sunderland. Talk about king of the road. Unicycle for uni party for uni politics. of which we're not fans. The whole body of the Kirk is not. Tracy the celibate sinner says Sunderland couldn't score in her brothel. With a £50 note, Tracy. In the Field found Wasp, Poison and Motley Crue tribute bands. In the Field live streamed the bands for me over on my WhatsApp, who were performing for the Hells Angels motorcyclists. He sent me the stream for my approval. Very good. Very good. Seeing what I see, it would have been daft not to book them. In the Field was arm wrestling and charming bikers' wives, I say in the Field, and girlfriends with his mullet, new suit and showing off his unicycle. Well, you know, if you're going to polish your unicycle in front of women, it is a thing of beauty, and it attracts them like, you know, flies round shite, said a spokesperson. His hips must do more swinging than Bill Clinton's. Just don't use Bill Clinton's cigars. How he got into the clubhouse is yet to be explained. Yes, in the Field, if you've been arm wrestling and charming the biker wives and girlfriends, I think you should be telling all the men of the parish exactly how to do that. I booked all 3 bands, Reverend, in exchange for Battenberg cakes and posh sandwiches. I think that's what won them over. It was Kathy Harper, and she cuts the sandwiches into shapes of guitar, plectrums, and organs. I think that's because Kathy probably loves a good strum. Let's not delve too deeply into the organ shapes. Not at this time of the evening. It's not past the watershed yet, young Andrew. It's a respectable church, remember? It was the last time I looked. Oh, the church. Yes, of course, very respectable. When In the Field mentioned the Kirk to the biker crowd and showed them some videos of Miss Grassy at the Christmas party, of course, they loved Miss Grassy singing in her revealing sexy dress and silver thigh-high boots. The clubhouse left the bar before they finished their drinks. They roared to the Kirk in their hundreds on their hogs. Oink, oink. Even the national news had to report numerous earthquakes that were all over Blighty, caused by motorbikes and their riders. And this happened before they knew Miss Grassy would be performing in much sexier thigh-high, black-studded boots with chains. Oh, I say, young Andrew, your imagination is certainly running a little riot. A very short black leather jumpsuit, a black cloak and red lining. Hang on, you're making us sound like Meatloaf, man. Paradise by a dashboard light, and a seductive dog collar with an O-ring. Created by Mrs. James from Marvin Sawdust's outfit. It was the Rev's fault. He upset him. Who? Marvin Sawdust. Why? He's spreading himself too thin. In hindsight, Marvin's departure was a blessing, right? Yes. Kisanshi's takeover. When Kisanshi took to the stage after the Tossers did their set, Miss Grassy's opening song, Kiss Them For Me. Hang on, are we doing Brotherhood of Man? Tribute band? Save all your kisses for me. That was a sensation. Miss Grassy whipped off the cloak after walking on stage, revealing the new outfit that was made by Mrs. James, and all in the very best possible taste. You can't see me legs. Of course. Now, Miss Grassy is good with theatrics and is prim and proper at home. According to the staff in Pop World in Birmingham, Miss Grassy kicked her legs very high. They went over her head like a rocket dancing girl from New York. All the lads were kissing Miss Grassy's naughty kinky boots like it was the Pope's ring. Interesting analogy, young Andrew. I'm so glad that I'm not one of those two... Oh, yeah, man, we've equalised. Sorry, I'm being distracted by bloody... Oh, Sandra! We've equalised. Luke 09. There may be a little banter this evening going on between Sandra Wytham and I. How long are you going to be narrating this unfunny drivel, Terry? It's unusual for you to be funny. Another couple of pages. How do you wish? Do you want me to talk about... the serious stuff? We'll get to that after I've done this. But a few guys might need to see a doctor or should stop wearing tight trousers. They kept fiddling with the front of their jeans or have what we call... no, I definitely can't mention that. The Rev missed the sensation due to being on an urgent phone call to Zetland FM about making the station more holy. For your information, Paul Stanley from Kiss got... Did he? Paul Stanley from Kiss got crabs from their first gig at the Daisy in Long Island. It's in his book. Well, I never. That's why he walks sideways on the stage. The bishop was breaking out in a hot sweat, either from excitement or was controlling his temper after seeing what his church had become. Disappointment had no ends. We still have no idea why. It is a respectable church, right? 3 more pages. I only fainted when Miss Grazzy gave me a peck on the cheek when I was in the front row. The last thing I remember was Big Gertrude from the St. John's ambulance giving me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Or was it a PT Ham sneaking in for a crafty snug afterwards? Any witnesses need to come forward and explain what they saw in writing. I have asked PT Ham, and all she says to me is, "A lady never tells." We shall pause it there. Because what I also want to talk about is, or say thank you to, is the legendary Battenbergers from Sunday. Dan Brooker, thank you, Dan. Johnny Ray, Kears for Fears, and Nothing But Tears. Oh, I can't wait to tell you what I know. Stuart, appreciate all the hard work and effort you put into this year. Happy New Year, Double A, and Happy New Year to you too, Stuart. Thank you to Alan for the leaky roof. That's the donation was for the leaky roof. We'll kind of split it between the swear box and the, and the lead on the roof. Because the bishop is getting mighty concerned about my potty mouth. I may have to say a few Hail Marys, to be fair. And to Karen, thank you very much for everyone's continued support. So, any New Year's resolution you want to tell me about? In oh, it was an own goal. Thank you, Super Ted. Hang on. So, oh, ya beauty, Sandra. I'll wait for you. Can you get rid of the bishop? He's spoiling. Yeah, well, I agree. Oh, Super Ted. What time is it? Blimey. Lively first half. So, any New Year's resolution? Thank you, Fern. Everyone that's kindly supporting the channel this evening gets a legendary Battenberg mention on the next live. So on Sunday, you will be at the front in the pews and you'll get honorary mentions as legendary Battenbergers. Thank you, Fern. Now, my one, because you know that I'm a cynical old tart, a proper cynical old tart. Thank you, Sandra. Always like to be of help. Right, I'm going to point something out to you. Not on camera. But the mainstream media, the legacy media, I know you don't trust them, but I'm going to do a bit of research into Jimmy Carter, you know, the American president. He died 3 times in 2024. Because I've got the newspapers. I've got the announcements in the newspapers. I have the physical evidence. He died in February, and then he died in May, and now he's died in December 2024. I mean, and the newspapers didn't question it. Yeah, the moderator has said, my New Year's resolution is to kick out any wrong-uns. That'll leave just me and you. There is a truth in that. So, you know, when the newspapers, mainstream media, legacy media, printed on the front of their newspapers over the week, kind of in between Christmas and New Year, oh, Jimmy Carter snuffed it. Oh, what a great president. I thought, he died before. So what are the mainstream media, the legacy media, doing, saying that Jimmy's died 3 times? And you trust these idiots? You trust this evil propaganda machine? Do not, under any circumstances, believe a shite word that comes out of their mouth. It makes my mouth, potty mouth, because it just gets me angry. They just lie. And now the Sun newspaper is a comic, seemingly the most popular newspaper in the land. In certain cities, they are definitely not, after Hillsborough. But it's only because I keep this archive that it's very, very valuable when you can juxtapose Jimmy Carter dying in February, and then Jimmy Carter dying in May, and then Jimmy Carter dying in December. And these idiots don't have a clue what they're saying. They don't know what they're doing. They're just, more gruel, sir. Can we have more money, please? Can we have more advertising, please? It'll keep us going, especially the Sun. Last financial year I saw 50 million in the red. 50 million. 50. No wonder old diggers just moved permanently to America. And so my New Year's resolution is simply this. Do not believe anything the mainstream media or legacy media are printing in 2025, because you know what'll happen. Look at the bloody Daily Mirror. Where is it? Let me show you this, because I was having a look at this before I came on air, and this is why I wanted to mention this. Have you seen that? That is our Prime Minister. You know the bloke that lies repeatedly? Him. My promise for 2025, is it not to lie? Kia, mate? Or is that just utter hogwash and bollocks that the propaganda machine, your communications team, are putting out? Because you and I know we're not thick. They think we are, but we're not thick. We can remember when his Chancellor said, we're doing away with the winter fuel allowance. And then he's making a promise because of the 80th anniversary of the World War II. And he's saying, oh yes, what we are going to do is we're going to get people together. We're going to get behind a common cause. My words, not his. We're going to get behind a common cause. And we are going to be Great Britain. Here, fuck off, mate. The whole country hates you. The whole country. Even some of your own lefty Bolshevik bastards, they're riling against you. It's toxic in number 10. They know that he got them into power. He can't stay in power. So the only one thing that you can be sure of in 2025, he's gone. Foxtrot Oscar, he's gone. Now it's only when, not if. He's gone. He is the most unpopular Prime Minister ever. Now that takes some doing. Some people didn't like Margaret Thatcher, but when we did a vote on this channel, they were like, oh, Thatcher, yeah, great Prime Minister. In a poll, he's the most unpopular Prime Minister ever. Now, I'm going to give you Sir Keir Starmer, the clown version. He's not going to make you laugh. This clown is going to make you cry, because Robert Reeves, Rachel from Accounts, is going to come after more taxes. You can be sure of that in 2025. Now, that headline on the front of the Daily Mirror today is utter PR bullshit. I'm calling it for what it is. It is propaganda bullshit. His promise to you, well, he's made loads of those. Waspy women, the pensioners. I mean, I could go on. Literally, it would be a shipping list as long as my arm, where he said, oh, yes, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And we've seen it on social media where he said, we're going to do this. And it's Prime Minister flip-flop. Got some news about Philippe Macron in just a little while. So he says he's going to make 2025 honouring our greatest generation. Do you understand what this propaganda peddler is saying? I'm going to make 2025 to honour our greatest generation. That'll be the generation that he's hammering for taxes, that he's taken the winter fuel allowance away from, and he does not care if they freeze to death over the next week when temperatures will get down to -2, -3 in certain parts of the country. It's going to be very cold over the next week. And where's he? He's sunning it in Madeira. You can't make it up. This is the man. Just take this bitter pill. This is the man whose brother died on Boxing Day. Now, if it wasn't expected, it will go to the coroner. But we haven't had that yet. It wasn't expected. Sorry, it was expected because he died tragically from cancer. So the funeral should be this week. And where's he? Not even in Blighty. This clown, that's Sir Keir Starmer, just in case you were worried your memory was going, this clown vowed to build a Britain that those ordinary people who did extraordinary things would be proud of. What a condescending, caring, understanding 90s type. Those ordinary people. How very dare he? There's nothing ordinary about the human condition. Nothing. It took a chance of millions to one for your little tadpole to get into your mother's egg. Sorry, your dad's tadpole to get into your mother's egg. The chances of that happening was millions to one. So, you know, the miracle of life. And he's going, oh, well, we'll build a Britain that those ordinary people who did extraordinary things will be proud of. Remember, some of them voted this clown into power. But those same people will make sure he wouldn't get in for a second term. Labour's finished. The Labour Party, the Workers' Party, as they were once called, are finished. Middle class, caring, understanding 90s type. These are not workers at all. They're just after the money. Madeira is nice wine according to Terry Wookfit. Fortified, a bit like the south coast of England. Well, I have genuinely been to Madeira, Funchal. And I am going to talk about it after I mention this, because that bloody headline really, really annoyed me today. Because we can all see through his shite, his bullshine, and his propaganda. Because that's what it is. It's the Ministry of Truth from Orwell's 1984. That's Starmer, but he's gone. Gone. Because what these idiots in the Westminster bubble don't realise is the people are not for turning anymore. The people have had enough. They've had enough of the Tories. And the newspapers are saying, oh, well, in the latest poll, Labour are behind the Tories. No, they're not. The polls don't matter. They lie. They lied in the American presidential election. They were saying that Camel Toe was in front. No, she wasn't. She wasn't even behind. She was flat on the floor after drinking a couple of bottles before she got up on the podium. And Donald's teetotal. They can't get past that. And all the polls were like, oh, yeah, she's within 1 point or 2 points. And they tried and tried and tried after the election to try and manipulate some of the results. They couldn't. Because they couldn't. It was too big to rig. So now you're talking about Sir Keir Starmer wanting the nation to come together. Not happening, mate. Because the voters have seen right through you. Now, I will say... Are you okay, Keir? Are you okay? No, I'm just asking for a friend because we're all concerned. The fact that it's your first holiday, according to your communications team, since you became Prime Minister, except you've never been bloody here, have you? Oh, the bloody thing. You haven't been here, have you, Sir Keir? So I am, asking for a friend because we're concerned. We are concerned about your mental health, Sir Keir. Because he knows, we know, that they know that's how they're going to get rid of him. Pressure's too much. His brother passing away started, and, well, he's not. He's just under pressure. He can't take the pressure. His mental health is suffering. That's how they're going to get rid of him. Of course, after the Southport trial. January 20th. Keep watching. So there are things that the people in power... Sir Keir Starmer's not in power. He just does as he's told. So that's why he gets the freebies, gets as much money in as possible, and then we'll go to Ukraine and go, here, Vladimir, you got any? How much are you going to give me? You gave Joe Biden, Sniffy, Poopy Pants, 90 million. Any chance of a little brown envelope, mate? Couple of mil, not a problem. I've given you billions, 3 billion a year for the next 5 years. Oh, sorry, Sir Keir, there's no war. What do you mean there's no war? Well, Donald got into power on January 20th, and all of a sudden Russia and Ukraine weren't fighting anymore. So we'll take your money, obviously. What would you like for your money? What you got? Chagos Islands? Oh, sorry, we already own those. What you got? Can we have Crimea? Don't give it to the bloody Russians. Oh, don't let the Donald anywhere near it. No. We can make a few. Oh, hang on a second. Have you just stopped the gas supply, the Russian gas supply coming through Ukraine to Europe? What are you doing? We're giving you $3 billion a year, man. That's not including the French and the Germans and the Americans. That's just us, the Brits. We need your gas because we're trying to shaft the pensioners. We're trying to kill them off. We're trying to make it so cold that they'll die off. Obviously, we need their houses for the economic migrants. So this clown Starmer, wants the nation to come together. Really? Ain't gonna happen in my house. Of course I will respect those that went before me. Of course I will respect my family members and others that fought off the plight of Nazism, trying to get into this country, trying to take over Europe. Of course, and I will respect them. But I won't respect the bloody corrupt politicians, let me tell you. He wants the nation to come together to commemorate victory over the Nazis 80 years ago. Ooh, scraping the barrel there, Sakir, do you not think? It's this, can you remember when people were kicking off because they weren't very happy about what was happening in this country? For various reasons, I'm not going to go into the detail because you already know. Just being careful not to usurp any kind of, well, I won't even mention it. But it's false nationalism when it suits him. So when people were demonstrating saying, this is unacceptable, he was calling them far right. And now that he wants to pull the pensioners on side, yeah, mate, we'll give you a few quid. He brings in false nationalism when it suits him. Caring, understanding 90s type. Now, look, I've said to you before, what he, because he's Chancellor, Rachel from Accounts, just does as she's told. And Ed Millipede, he does as he's told, because seemingly we have a president in this country. And the Prime Minister is ipso facto, de facto president. And everybody does as they're told. All the bloody Bolsheviks. But I will guarantee him this. If we have a tough winter, and we're going into it now, there won't be any of that generation left to commemorate. They don't care whether they're going to kill off 4,000 of the most elderly. There won't be any of that generation left to attend because Starmer, the harmer, will have killed them all off while he's holidaying in Madeira. He doesn't give a flying, that bloke. So, $3 billion a year, 5 years to sniffy Zelensky, and $1.5 billion would have paid for the winter fuel allowance for the elderly. Now, let me tell you about this little jaunt he's been on, or is on currently. I'm hearing a couple of things. One, he boarded a British Airways flight to Funchal. Some are trying to say first class. No, they don't fly first class to Madeira. They do a business class, but not first class. So he's obviously gotten on the plane. He got on VIP, which means that everybody goes on the plane, they pull the curtains in business, and then he gets into business without anybody else knowing on the flight. And then he gets off the flight first. So he got on VIP. He hid in the shadows. That's how weaselly this man is. He hid. His security hid him. And I'll guarantee you this. He won't know how much he's hated. He won't. He has no clue. He's cosseted by his security team, by his communication team. Oh, yes, Sakir. Yes, of course, Sakir. I don't trust anybody that's got a lord or sir, or knighted as a sir in front of their names. Sir Jimmy Savile. Now, when he got on and the other passengers saw that he was getting onto the aeroplane, they booed. Boo, you fecker. I'd quite happily get thrown off a flight. If he got on the flight, oh boy, I'd be happily giving it to him from the back of the plane. This man has no understanding of the working man and woman. Instead of saying ordinary people, how condescending. Why doesn't he say, for the working man and woman, the backbone of this country, we are going to salute those that help this country remain free and independent? Unless, of course, you count his ability to get us signed into the European Super Union. So he goes into Madeira, flies to Madeira, gets to Madeira. The runway in Madeira is a cure for constipation, because literally the pilots have to have special training, because you come in at an angle and you have to get that plane on the ground as quick as you can, because it's a short runway. And if you don't get that plane down, there's every chance you're going to fall off the end of the runway. It literally, 50p sixpence, 50p sixpence. That runway is an experience in itself. So he jumped the queue with his wife and 2 kids, VIP, onto the flight. Gets into Madeira. Not quite sure which hotel he's staying in, but I stayed right on myself and the First Lady of the Kirk, stayed in a wonderful hotel, beautiful hotel, right in Funchal, the centre of Funchal, and you literally fell over out of the hotel. You were on the main street where all the restaurants were. Can you imagine? And it's filled with Brits. It's absolutely ram-packed with Brits in Madeira, in Funchal. And he's gone there amongst the Brits. I mean, are we going to have, maybe they do, stiff up a lip, don't say a word, just go, you faggot. It was like two of the nuns of the body of the Kirk. They went out recently to Madeira, obviously to do some of their conversion work with the locals there, who are highly Catholic. And I think, isn't that where they've got a statue of Cristiano Ronaldo? Is he from Madeiran? Portuguese, obviously, but I'm sure he's from Madeira. And the nuns went out there and they were talking to some of the locals, and some of them were getting a bit potty-mouthed. And one nun was relating this experience to the other nun later on. And she said, Sister Andrea, did you show him your cross? She said, of course I did. Told him to fuck off 3 times. So within Funchal, literally you get to the island of Madeira and it just goes up. I mean, it's really hilly. What myself and the First Lady of the Kirk did was, there's this toboggan run. And this toboggan run is in a dry sled. It's a wooden sled, and it's got, like, you know, the Venetians in Venice, just one cornetto. No, I can't sing either. And they take you around all the little waterways in Venice. Well, these tobogganists, I mean, the First Lady of the Kirk says, they're going to have a tobogganist on the sled. I said, can I get 20 Benson and Hedges from him? I don't smoke before you start. And it's an old gag. And what they do is they stand on the back and they just weave you down this toboggan run for about, 6 or 7 minutes. It's not very long, but it's all on a wooden sled. And it's quite hair-raising. Have a guess up. Who pitched up with his wife and 2 kids? Now, the kids are not young anymore, but have a guess who pitched up with his missus and 2 kids. And maybe he was doing it for show. Maybe he's trying to tell us that he's heterosexual because he's there with his wife and his kids. Now, obviously, he decides that there's a 3-hour queue. I'm not going to stand in any bloody 3-hour queue. No, stuff that. Here, get me security men. Go and have a word. We're not standing in the queue. So he waltzes up to this toboggan run and gets in a sled in front of the very people that he's saying should come together for this celebration in 2025. And they'll have taken him down. I mean, his security men must have been having a fit, because I am going to post the video. I'm going to talk about this. Hopefully, this little bit will have some of the video that I took on this toboggan run, so you can actually see what it's like from beginning to end. It only takes about 6 minutes. but he couldn't be bothered to wait in a queue of 3 hours. Oh, here, mate, scum-sucking pond life. Caring, understanding, 90s type. Let alone 2-tier or 3 gear. He's queue jumper Starmer. And that's not apparel either. But he doesn't even get the optics of how this looks. He literally has no empathy or compassion or context or understanding what this looks like from the man and woman on the street, the working man and woman that are busting their arse, trying to put food on the table for the kids, have a holiday every now and again, and literally the prices are going up and everything he gets is free. Everything he gets is paid for. Everything he gets. And he will be multi-millionaire, Sir Keir Starmer. Not from his CPS days, Director of Public Prosecutions. No, 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 no. From his time in politics. Because these idiots do not part. In fact, they don't part with a steam off their own shite. They literally will not pay for anything. Me and you, who are knocking our pipe out to earn the odd shekel or 5, he literally is on a freebie, constant freebie from the taxpayer, not government money. He's bending you over and his government and then going on freebies. The optics of entitlement and jumping the queues does not sit well to the man and woman on the street who are being shafted by a government who are increasing taxes. They lied. Who they said they would look after the waspy women. They lied. Who said that they would look after the pensioners. They lied. In fact, they've taken the bloody winter fuel allowance off them, and we're going into the toughest part of winter. He's clearly beyond caring. Scum-sucking pond life. So we're going to do, over the next couple of days, we'll stick a video up so you can see what that actually toboggan run is like, and whether Sir Keir Starmer had the willies put up him by going on that toboggan run. You squeal a bit, obviously for effect, but the optics of entitlement, that right there is Sir Free Keir Starmer. I bet he didn't pay for it, and I bet he didn't buy the bloody photograph at the end of it either. You upset them, the tobogganists, the people that take you down. If you don't buy the photograph, they get very upset. Very, very upset. So I hope his security people did. Can I talk about Esther Ranson? Do you mind? Because it's... Hang on a second. Alan says, hang on, let's have some of your responses to that. Philip Fraser says, I've done that toboggan thing. I think I've stayed in that hotel as well. I remember the really shiny roads for that. Yeah, you can see it in the video. I mean, I just sat there laughing my cap off, taking the whole thing for posterity, of course. And, I mean, it's just a fun little thing to do. But can you imagine? I mean, he'll have been sat there. Oh, tell me when to smile, Victoria. Am I meant to enjoy this, Victoria? Are the children still here, Victoria? Oh, tell me when I can get off and give Lord Ali a call. The Bad Wolf Project. Starmer staying at Royal Savoy in a private suite. You and me would pay £1,200 a night. Well, the First Lady of the Kirk, we definitely didn't pay 1,200 quid a night. Starmer, according to Alan, puts the kiss of death on anything he lies about. Very good point, Alan. In the field, cool running Starmer, disconnect the steering and brakes. Towards the end of the run, it obviously gets quicker and quicker and quicker. They don't want to scare the bejesus out of you. But, I mean, it's a lovely thing to do. So long as you are a man and woman of the street, working man and woman who's earned their shekel and gone out there, not queue jumping and not 3-hour queue. And this entitled arsehole just jumps the queue. Bad Wolf Project says, oh yeah, got that, in the field, got that. Stuart, that's why he doesn't give a flying about the man and woman on the street. Literally, there's no empathy or compassion to the man. None. I doubt he has any feelings. But he's gone. Enjoy being Prime Minister while you can, Prime Minister. Because you know, and I know, and everybody watching this channel, you will not be Prime Minister at the end of 2025. And there is every chance there'll be a snap election and the Labour Party won't be in power at the end of 2025. Just watch the results and what happens from the man and woman in the street when they start voting reform and start putting reform into the local council elections. Oh. Because we don't care anymore. We've had enough. We've had literally decades and decades and decades of bullshit from the political classes. We've had decades and decades and decades of subterfuge and lies and subtlety while they think they're getting away with it. We've even had Prime Ministers stand outside the door of number 10 Downing Street and get pissed on by God. And this clown, because he's a barrister, thinks he knows what he's doing. Look, the legal profession don't even like each other. So you can imagine that place filled full of barristers at each other's throats. So let's just say the optics are not very good. Terry Wookfit. Starmer didn't go on the toboggan run. His kids did. He got them on the ride, then drove down at the bottom of the run to pick them up. No, honestly. He's so weak and ineffectual. I've ridden that. There's now there. It's a bit of fun. So he wanted his kids to go on. That's even worse. That is even worse. It's bad enough being Prime Minister and think you're entitled, but then getting the kids on one ahead of the rest of the queue is even bloody worse. I can understand the security and his security detail, and what they would do. Prime Minister, no. We'll have to risk assess this. Oh, stick your kids on. Let them go. It's like David Cameron leaving his kids in a pub. Prime Minister Lammy next to him. Oof, Alan, no chance. No chance. He's an intellectual pygmy, man. Derek Tomlinson, if you want to know politics, watch Yes, Prime Minister. It shows you everything. Derek, do you know, I might actually watch that from the beginning. Because the clips that I've seen over the last 20 years or so, it was so sharp. So sharp. P.T. Ham, don't mess with the peaky farmers. Agreed. Stuart, Ray Norton, only ride the Harmer will go on his alley. Is that what they call it? Toboggan? I'm being facetious and covering my arse. Jonathan Todd. Oh, Jono! David Cameron and Tony Blair now seem like halcyon days. Do you know? There's no bigger truth than that. I mean, we looked at David Cameron. Wee! Pig fucker Cameron. Wee! Charles Linton done for Hampstead Heath. Just go Bow Street Magistrates and Charles Linton. You'll soon find that deviant fecker. And the Iraq War. Halcyon days indeed. Pig fecker. Wee! Bet he likes pork scratchings. In the field. Well, we've seen how limp Starmer is with a punch. Oh, no, I know. He was on the heavy bag. Somebody should have told him, here, your lordship, tug for luck. If you want to be shown as manly, get Andrew Tate to show you how to punch a bag. He's going, Obviously, Sir Keir would have taken a battering in the ring if he'd ever done any boxing. But those little wrists and hands wouldn't be able to hang tight enough. God, I love a heavy bag. That's not a euphemism either. You're wrong. Last one, Johnny Ray. I bet my bottom dollar that the Tories regret getting rid of Boris. Oh, yeah. I mean, Liz Truss nearly bankrupt the country. Now, I'm just speaking out aloud here because I know what politics are like. I wonder if anyone in that particular Tory cabinet and government shorted the pound. Just thinking out loud. Because the pound went into free fall. I wonder if anybody would do such a thing, such a reckless thing by shorting the pound. And I'll also say that every journalist knows the answer to the question they're asking. I know. I want to talk about Esther Ranson in a moment. I say, is that a euphemism? A Bad Wolf Project? Victoria Sponge? Well, she gets free clothes, bless her. I want to talk about Esther Ranson, and we'll do some things to make you go and then I think we'll get into a bit of a quiz in due course. One, Esther Ranson. So remember the newspaper reports, and remember, I've got those bloody newspapers. So Esther Ranson, I'm dying. Can we have assisted dying, please? Because, well, I think that it would be a great thing for the country. Other countries have got it, and well, I think it would be wonderful. I would certainly not want to take my daughter to Dignitas in Switzerland and then die in Switzerland when I'm from Blighty, and then your daughter would be done for murder. Because that's the deal. Anybody goes out of Dignitas with you, they're done for murder or assisting in the death of a person. So Esther Ranson is doing all this campaigning, and you're thinking, oh, poor Esther. Not me. You might. I don't. I see right through that cow. And ask Bernard Braden. If you're old enough, Braden beat. Bernard Braden. And then Esther got a clause in. Des Wilson. And suddenly, it became That's Life. Bernard Braden. Off you go, son. Esther's the star. So she was desperate to get the assisted dying bill through Parliament. And she's saying, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, please. It's for me, I'm dying, I've got cancer, I'm dying. I've got cancer, please do it for me. Oh, I've got cancer, I'm dying. Bugger me! There's a cure. She's not dying. Well, technically, we're all going to die. There's no getting out of this alive. She's feeling much better, thank you. You couldn't make this shite up. You couldn't. She was on death's door. Any day she was going to die before this bill was going to go through Parliament. And she was saying, oh, please can we rush it? Please can we rush it? And we need to put it through because, you know, I'm going to die. I want dignity in my death. There's no bloody dignity now. There's a cure. Didn't say that when she was campaigning because I remember it all going very quiet. And she's feeling much better, thank you. It's on the level of Ernest Saunders. Can you remember Ernest Saunders and the Guinness thing? He got off, almost let off, and out of jail early because he had Alzheimer's. And bugger me sideways with a barge pole, the minute he walks out of jail, I'm cured. I've not got Alzheimer's anymore. What? I've not got Alzheimer's. I'm cured. He's the only human being ever in the history of mankind to be cured of the very thing that he had when he went into jail. I've no idea how they did that. Maybe they laid hands on him while he was in his cell. Maybe he prayed to a god, some god, any god. And maybe that god, whichever one he was praying to, decided to cure him of Alzheimer's. Because he couldn't remember anything in the trial. Ernest Saunders, go down that rabbit hole. Bit like Esther Ranson. She's being cured. He's cured. She's cured. Things to make you go, So I'm annoyed at her because I just feel, I don't know about you, I just feel that I'm being lied to on an industrial scale. The propaganda peddlers will put it in the paper, but they're burying that story now that it's gone through Parliament, now that they've got what they wanted, which is killing the old uns off, where the old uns go, oh, I'm a burden, let me just go and die. No. Human life is sacrosanct. Because look, I don't know about you, but we know our grandparents were of a generation where they said, no, I don't want to be a burden on anyone. Just take me to Switzerland and have me offed. Have me Epsteined. Just let me go. And now, Esther Ranson, Dame Esther Ranson, is doing the elites, the system, the political classes' will. She's doing their bidding, and they're going to get it through the House of Lords? No, it's not going to happen. I think it's got another 2 votes. So it goes to committee, they do interviews and stuff, and then they make recommendations, and then it's sent to the Lords, and the Lords will have a look at what the Commons have done, what the Commons are suggesting as alterations, and then they will give their take and their iteration of the assisted dying bill, for want of a better term, because that's not its actual name, and it goes back to the Commons, and then they vote to put it into power. Then it goes to Charles the Weak. Charles the Weak says, "Oh, Camilla, oh, bugger me, bloody thing. They've sent the assisted dying bill through the Commons into the Lords, back into the Commons, and they want it for royal assent. Camilla, what do? They might Epstein us." Charles the Weak will shit himself. Oh, just let the plebs, the trolls, let them have their wish. Say thank you to Esther Ranson. She's still alive. Oh, yes, darling. Yes, dear. Oh, that's unusual. She was supposed to die 2 years ago. Terry Wookfit, by the time it gets to Charles, it will be called Starmer's Euthanasia Bill. I'm going to give you this little bit of information. I'm getting this on very, very good authority. It's not in the British press at all, because the British press don't want you to know, in case you're going to vote people, this country, this sceptred isle, back into the bloody European super union. Now, let me tell you something. Germany is tanking. Its economy is going through the floor. France is going through the floor. Serves them right for having the deviants and perverts at the bloody Olympics, having men in women's sport. No. Emile Macron is deserving everything that he gets. Well, mind you, apart from the pegging with his grandmother, he's probably very happy with that. But Emile Macron is gone. Done. Over the next couple of days, just keep your ears open. Election announcements coming within days. Looks like Le Pen could be in prime position, pole position, to take over France. Now, do you not think this is really interesting? That the whole world has gone, whoa, hang on a second. We need to get rid of these idiots, these left-wing Bolshevik bastards. Do you not think we need to get rid of them? Yeah. So they're getting rid of Canadian Trudeau. The Australians are pretty much not for moving. New Zealander, Lucinda Ahern. Oh, Jesus. Got any gear? Free gear. And now France is going from very left-wing, trying to keep the European Union together, into a right-wing state. Because Le Pen could win it. You know, Marie Le Pen could be winning it. I mean, Macron admits, mea culpa. It's a bit like the mafia. Yeah, my fault. It didn't show up yet. It's not my fault. Now, seemingly, Emile Macron is expected to fall on his pork sword within a few days. I use that word advisedly, considering how many Muslims they've got in France. But at least he would be free. He would be free of the shekels, so he could go back and peg his grandmother. Not as in Peggy's. Pegging. Plural. So there's Germany on its knees. They don't want the right wing to get in Germany. You know what happened the last time there was right wing governments in Germany. They don't want right wing in France, because then France and Germany are right wing, and the whole of the European super union, that particular project, gone. Fox to Oscar. And then these idiots, these clowns on social media going, oh, let's have us back into Europe. Let's go back into Europe. We didn't want Brexit. You for real? So Germany's stiffed. France is stiffed. Hang on. Possibly that's what Emile Macron wanted. Some gags going on in the chat. I'm not going to repeat some of them, because you are just encouraging me to be naughty. I am a reverend after all, please. Tesla Cybertruck explodes outside a Trump hotel in Las Vegas, killing one person and injuring several others. That's another video for tomorrow, I think. In Germany, there was a stabbing in Berlin yesterday. Man arrested today. Economy's in freefall. Now, it's the usual suspects. We'll go to America in a moment, because a usual suspect drove his truck into a whole load of people, 10 dead, 35 others injured. Stabbing in Berlin yesterday. It's the usual suspects. And yet, because you look at it, and me and you, man and woman on the street, the taxpayers, if you wish, we look at this and go, we can see through this. They can't keep this from us anymore. And in America, this guy that drove his truck into a whole bunch of people, 10 dead, 35 others injured, got out of his truck and opened fire. And yet, from the beginning, the FBI are calling it, no, it's not a terrorist incident. It's not a terrorist incident. Well, obviously, it's not a terrorist incident with the Islamist state flag on his truck. No. It's not terrorist related at all. And they named him as Shamsuddin Jabba. Shamsuddin Jabba. It's not like it's called Smith or Jones, is he? It's not like he was any of the immigrants, the Jewish immigrants that came out of the pogroms and came out of Europe fleeing Nazism. Shamsuddin Jabba, known to his mates as Prick. 42-year-old US citizen from Texas, so he's integrated into America, and then is this like an MK Ultra reshoot, pun intended, where he's just got out, he's bang, 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 and seemingly there was explosive material in the truck. And have you noticed how it's always a lone shooter? It's always a lone operator. The man that tried to off Trump, lone. But let me tell you, that's terrorism, because the FBI, and we've only got 19 days before the Donald becomes inaugurated as US president. Oh, the FBI must be shitting themselves. They're all going to lose their jobs. Any corruption? I mean, we've got Elon seemingly doing, and Vivek Ramaswamy, they're looking at government spending because they're spending far too much. They're 36 trillion in debt. There's absolutely no way. It's 110, 120% of GDP. There's no way that the Americans are getting out of this debt. None. Breaking New Orleans latest, suspect in terror attack on city, not solely responsible, FBI says, as 2 IEDs made safe. Now, this is technically not a black swan event. It's not big enough. 19 days, January 20th. How lively do you think that the next 19 days are going to get? They've already tried to off the president-elect. Soul Rebel says, it's always ordinary folk that they go for. Yeah. I'm hoping that this political earthquake that's going on in America comes across here. I mean, I've seen Nigel Farage's New Year, his New Year speech. And I felt that as good as it was, there needs to be more detail. But I think that Farage and Reform are going to literally sweep the political classes away because the man and woman, the voter, have had enough. I'm quite sure that a lot of people voted for Labour this time round because they felt that Labour was going to change things. And Starmer said, vote for change. There's been no bloody change. They've just screwed the man and woman on the street even harder into the ground. There's no change going on here. And he'll say, oh, well, we'll give all this money to the NHS. The NHS is virtually private now. The only thing that will stay free at the point of use is going to be A&E. Everything else, you'll have to have insurance. Now, Farage is a keen, he's a keen fan of the American health system. And you need to be aware of this because, look, all politicians lie. All of them. Or should I say, some politicians lie, some politicians don't tell you the whole truth. It's called politics for a reason. So please don't be burned multiple times by the scum-sucking pond life that are literally just not telling you the truth. So if we can become the 51st state, there's every chance that Canada will become the 51st, Greenland will become the 52nd, we might become the 53rd. But this is Treasure Island. There's billions and billions and billions of pounds going into the NHS. And they just want to cut it all off, leave A&E free to use, and everything else you're going to need Obamacare, or you're going to need health insurance. I'm telling you, don't believe what you're being told. Do your own research. I want to say congratulations. I want to say congratulations. Sadly, it's a double-edged sword. Who was the champion of 2024? Well, it was rest in peace for Aston Barrett. You may not know Aston, but Aston was the former bassist with Bob Marley and the Wailers. So mixed with legends and played on some fantastic songs. Now, within the band, he was known as Family Man. This is Aston Barrett that passed away in 2024. Why is he the champion of 2024? Because, in my view, it's all on account of the number of children he fathered. What do you mean? How many children did he father? 41. Now that's some swordsman. 41 kids. Can you imagine changing the nappies, man? Oi, 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 oi. Talking of Nigel, as I was just a moment ago, have you seen the latest numbers? Because when something kind of rears its ugly head, I like to keep tabs on it, whether it's the poll for a general election, which has passed 3 million votes now. And in the beginning, they're like, oh, no, it's bots. It's bots. It's absolutely bloody not bots. It's people that have voted because you have to ratify with the system, with our government. And they send you an email so that you can click on the email so that it's not bots. And it's gone past 3 million. 3 million genuine votes. Reform got 4 million at the ballot box. But the reason I mention this is I mentioned it on Sunday. I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. When people loose lips sink ships. Kemi Badenoch, that woman needs to be taken in hand. Euphemism not intended. But Big Nige comes out and says, yeah, we've got over 150,000 members. Kemi Badenoch comes out and goes, that's shite, man. No. That's fraud. So Big Nige comes out and goes, here, Kemi, we've had it ratified. We've had our numbers audited. So, do you want to audit your membership, the Tory party membership? Because I think you find that's fraudulent. Now, they were Nigel Farage's words. I'm just reporting it so that you know what Nigel said. I'm not accusing anybody, but Kemi Badenoch, the Tories are finished. Look, Labour's finished because of who they put in as Prime Minister. There isn't anybody standing behind him that's worthy of anything. Streeting, maybe, but we haven't seen the whites of his eyes yet. The ginger growler, no. She's too... All I can say is rough around the edges. Too northern. So Kemi Badenoch accused Big Nige of fraud. That was the word used. And then nothing. Because they've shit themselves in the Tory party because Big Nige is just outed. He's called it out as fraud. When Kemi Badenoch called it out as fraud, Big Nige, had everything. What a pint, Nige. Had everything ratified, audited, and Kemi Badenoch, another IQ point, should be a bloody lamppost. I want to finally, before we get to the, I've told you about Germany, Macron. I'm not going to talk about that. We'll talk, I'll do the Daily Mirror again, and then we'll talk about Johnny Walker. That's the DJ, not the whiskey. Yeah, wrong. The Eau Bovril, she has bristles around her edges. Well, if she does, the Eau Bovril, she needs some Mimac. Show me age now. Fern says, I used to like her, watched her in debate at the election, thought no way could you squint and see a statesman. No, the fact that she's accused Farage and Reform of fraud, and Farage and Reform have just turned the tables on her and gone, it was all audited, it's been ratified by the Tory graph. Let's have a look at yours then. And literally nothing. I mean, Jacob Rees, I'm worth £100 million, has come out and gone, Kemi, no, shut the up, man, don't be saying that, because they'll start looking at us and then they'll find out it's just a house of cards that'll come tumbling down. So Labour's done, the Tories have done. Who else is there? Don't give me the Greens and the Lib Dems. No. They're saying in a poll the other day that if there was an election now, Labour would lose over 200 seats. Lose their majority. Blue Label. Not Blue None. Adam Whale, she's like an A-level politics student and Kira's head of department. That is very good, Adam. Very good analogy. Oh, by the way, just in case you're a newbie, Alan says Nigel should take her to court and sue the bollocks off her. I agree. Well, technically, they have parliamentary privilege. So it might be difficult. She can say anything she wants and claim parliamentary privilege and just say, well, you know, Your Honour, somebody put far too much cooking sherry in the trifle. I was just a little bit, wobbly. I was a bit unnerved. And, I didn't know what was coming out of my mouth. Got parliamentary privilege. So nothing will come of it, I don't think. What's Terry Wookford said? I'm sure Russia is really bothered considering the amount of money they will make from the energy to China and India. Yeah, as I have reiterated in the last 2 years on this channel, and we've always been ahead of the game. Sorry, I was just weird noise here. It's all about energy independence. Those that have the energy can be energy independent. China, Russia, America, the Saudis, Qataris, Israel, because now Israel want all of the gas and oil under the Gaza Strip and in the East Mediterranean Sea. So all of those nations who have this energy independence, now we're finding, and I think they're doing it because it's propaganda. I think they're doing it just so that somebody in this country, namely the Prime Minister, is going to turn around and say, oh, bugger, Ukrainians have cut off Russians' gas, so we're going to have to double the price of gas in this country. Sorry, everyone, nothing we can do. You're just going to have to step up, pay up, and bend over. Terry Wookford said, they will make some shite up about Georgia or one of the other countries over that way, maybe even Moldova. Or, Putin's not a fool. And can you imagine President Xi Jinping of China saying, well, we found $80 billion dollars worth of proper gold, like actual gold, not Bitcoin, actual gold. So let's talk about propaganda, as we are. The Daily Mirror is obviously the propaganda trumpet for the Bolshevik Labour Party. I mean, the headlines, that headline that I showed you today, this is absolute bollocks. My promise for 2025. I get it. And what it says is, Keir Starmer tells Mirror readers, we'll honour sacrifices of the war generation 80 years on and build a country they would be proud of. My hairy backside. Do you know how I know that that is propaganda and absolute bullshit? They took the winter fuel allowance from the pensioners to save money so they can send it to Ukraine. Or $11.5 billion to Africa in climate change subsidies. What? Ed Millipede. So why are they sending all this money to Africa? Does Africa need it? I think the pensioners do. So my promise for 2025. In the words of that great Chinese philosopher, how do we end shite, man? You're talking out of your hairy backside. He is. He just makes it up. His communication team will go, right, we need a piece where we need a piece to make people think that Starmer's human and he's engaging and he's going to do the right thing. He's not going to do the right thing. He's not done the right thing since July. Even when the Brown stuff was hitting the fan, he still wasn't doing the right thing because lie after lie after lie. And that will be proven to be a lie. But not only will it be proven to be a lie, because we already know that he's shafting the pensioners left, right and centre, or thinking he can get away with it and get Rachel from accounts to miss a few decimal points. Because we'll look at this in 6 or 7 months. And when we find out how many pensioners have died from the cold, January 20th, and the trials that are going to go on at the end of this month. According to Nigel Farage, he knows more than most people. And what? Starmer's done. Got the local elections in May. So there could be the end of January when he goes. There could be in the run-up to the local councils where he could go. It could be when the local councils have decided, the man and woman on the street have voted in the local councils, and Labour, being that toxic entity, are being crushed by reform because people are not even saying. The pollsters will go up to me and you and go, who do you think you'll vote for in the local elections? I'm not getting voting. I've had enough, man. I've had enough of the shite. No, just put me down. I'm not voting. And then I'll go and vote for reform. So the pollsters will go and say, not sure, some are undecided, but in the main, they're all voting Labour. Told you earlier in this live. Same with camel toe. So those headlines. Oh, and there was, I meant to show you this, apology. This article in the Daily Mirror today. I don't know whether you read it. I mean, I don't, it's not my favourite newspaper because it's just propaganda. But this was the headline. This was a full-page piece. It's called Faces of Heartbreak. The Faces of Heartbreak. And it says, a snapshot of last year's toll in the Channel as charities call for safer routes. Now, let me just think about this bullshit propaganda that's coming out of the Daily Mirror. Obviously, that and the BBC are going to be queered up to Kia. And I thought, hang on a second. Faces of Heartbreak. Snapshot of last year's toll in Channel as charities call for safer routes. Foxtrot Oscar. Charities calling for safer routes. ROUTES, by the way. Not colouring your hair. Foxtrot Oscar. It's enough to make a saint swear. But do you know how to stop people dying in the Channel? Stay in bloody France! Don't come over here. It's the busiest shipping lane in the world, and they're trying to get across here on dinghies. And then this shit rag says, oh, well, you know, faces of heartbreak. People in this country don't care. There are some namby-pamby pinko liberals who'll turn around and go, well, you know, they're just children. One a month old, one 7-year-old, one 11-year-old. Stay in France. It's safer in France. It's safer in the European Super Union because there's no getting water to come across. And these idiots are trying to peddle propaganda so that you and I will feel sorry for the faces of heartbreak who died in 2024 trying to get across the Channel. Now, it's very simple to say this. Stay in France. France is part of the European Union. They have open borders where people can go from country to country to country, and it's your choice whether to come across here or not. And if you try to come across the Channel and sadly you drown or die because it was your choice, not ours, they, all of them, should stay where they come from. Terry, I completely agree with you. But that particular powder we need to keep dry for the end of January. And it's like I watched over Christmas. This is very, very, very good 6-part series on Netflix called The Spy. It stars Sacha Baron Cohen, and I thought at the beginning of it, no, Sacha Baron Cohen, he's like Ali G. How am I going to believe this character? But I'm telling you, it's incredible, and it's a true story. An Israeli spy that infiltrates the very heart of Syrian government and army, and they find him out. So I won't. It's a true story. It's called The Spy. If you do get a chance, I can heartily and highly recommend it, because it's excellent. The story is excellent and everything. And I'm mentioning that because Syria's government and the way it's run and everything has changed. Assad's legged it to Russia. And even the propaganda peddlers are trying to say, oh, well, Assad's missus is British, so she might want to come back here because, she might be ill or... No. It's one big club. We're not in it. Assad's gone to Russia. He'll have billions and billions. He'll siphoned off billions of dollars from Syria and oil. The heart of the matter and the truth of the matter is we don't need people that are literally going to fleece our system. We don't need any more people coming to this country. I want to know who is making the money out of putting this scum-sucking pond life up in this country. So all these hotels where they're saying, oh, well, yes, this hotel's full and that hotel's full and we're trying to build things as quickly as we can. Who's making the money? And have any of these caring, understanding 90s types in Parliament got their fingers, their grubby little mitts into any of this? Because, again, I've told you before, the whole thing about politicians and politics is it's corrupt. It's corrupt to the core. Do not believe anything that a politician will say, that the propaganda peddlers will say, because they're being bought off by the taxpayers' money that the government will give them in advertising. I want to know which companies are making the money. Which companies are buying up these hotels, doing them up to get all of these people in, and the taxpayers will pay for it. I want to know how many politicians have got their grubby little mitts in that particular very lucrative pie. Nobody's talking about that. They're all saying, oh, we're going to smash the gangs, smash the gangs, smash the gangs. Never happened in a month of Sundays. They were talking shite. And then it's, well, we'll get everybody safe. We'll get everybody safe. We're not interested. Our taxes are paying for this in billions. And what this is and what politics is, it's a money laundering exercise. All of it's corrupt. All of it. So whether it's money being sent to be laundered in Ukraine or money being given to hotels in this country, somebody somewhere is making a shit ton of it. Who are they? If you don't hear from me again, so the Syrians, the economic migrants that have come over here for free money, free phones, free house, free everything, free healthcare. We can't get into hospital. I've been trying to get a doctor's appointment for over a week for this cough. I'm going to have an X-ray just to make sure there's nothing untoward going on. But I've struggled to get an appointment. That's not the NHS that I remember. The NHS where you could trust your doctor. An NHS where you could trust everyone doing, it's a vocation, not a money-making exercise. And sadly now, in 2025, that's what the NHS is for a lot of doctors and consultants. They're making shit tons, obscene amounts of money, and yet they're not saying that we need to save the NHS. No, they'll get all the bloody Syrians in who wouldn't get the same treatment back in their own home and their own country. And the fact of the matter is this. We don't need any more immigrants. We don't need any more free workers, free chippies, free bricklayers or free builders. We don't need any more drug dealers. And we don't need any more smugglers. But we're going to smash the gangs. Remember? Yeah. Smash the gangs. Stop them from getting across here. And yet the propaganda peddlists are saying faces of heartbreak. You cannot make this up. And when the pensioners are going to die, because sure as eggs are eggs, they're going to die over the next week or two, or month or two, when winter really kicks in. And these politicians are only bothered about how much money they can make as freebies. 100 grand, Sir Keir Starmer, freebie Starmer, free gear Keir. 100 grand's worth. Is he still going to all the Arsenal games? That soon died down. This island is full, but it's also a money-making racket, a money laundering racket, where the government will use your taxes, the stuff that they're literally dragging out your backside, putting into a big pot, and then going, well, we need to have all these people come in. No, we don't. Look, if we want more kids, we can shag our way to more kids. Oh, we need this free enterprise to come in. No, we don't. Who's making the money? Andrew James says, is it true migrants get 50 quid to spend at HMV? If they're spending 50 quid at HMV and they get that a freebie, they need a record player or a CD player. I mean, we're also being told, shh, don't say anything. We're being told, if you say anything, you're evil. You're nasty, you're evil. These people are running from oppression. And now when we find that the Syrians are not running from oppression, they don't actually have an answer to this, but they're going to rebuild Syria. We had the British Tory government talking to Syria about selling them arms and armaments. Britain. The Tory government. There were representatives of the Tory government going to Syria and speaking with the Tory Ministry of Defence or the government. And you just think, hang on, man. We're not fools. We're not thick. And we can see what politics is about now. It's not about doing the right thing. It's not about getting laws through Parliament. We don't need any more laws. We've got plenty of those. We just need to stop these evil feckers laundering money by various schemes. And I'm being straight with you. They don't like these questions being asked. That's why this live is free. Because then they can't say, oh, well, if you want advertising, Adrian, then, well, you know, you can't really say that. Do you want sponsorship, Adrian, for your lives? Well, you can't really say that. I'm a free man. Free there, free here. I can't be bought. This island's full. Leave us alone. Let us get on and raise our kids, raise our grandkids, have a wonderful life with our families, and just have some joy. Because the other thing you'll realise is these Bolshevik bastards, they have no joy in them. They don't have any... There was a time where Sir Keir Starmer, they had to tell him to smile, had to tell him to laugh. I mean, can you imagine that? Well, it's your public persona, Sir Keir. Laugh. We want the voters to think that you're human. No, he's not. We don't even know what size his family is. Which kids did he take out to Madeira? And what about the missus? She being bought off for free clothes. Jesus. All right, let's have a... I'm thinking, because a lot of work's gone into, and we'll do things that make you go, and there's 100 questions here. I mean, you know, if you've been with the channel enough time, you know that I love a good rant. You know that I love to get into the ribs of the politicians because they're fair game, because they're stealing and thieving and laundering our taxpayers' money. We're getting the grift, we're getting the game, we're getting insight into it. We've got 19 days. And in the beginning, the Labour Party were one way. Oh, Donald Trump, no, bag of that. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, right, okay, he's going to be the most powerful man in the world, apart from Putin and Xi. Should we... So I'm thinking... Terry Wookford says something very insightful. He says, isn't life grand as we enter into 2025? I would suggest that we have a great opportunity here because we've got the political classes on the run. They don't know what to do. They don't know who we are. They don't know why we're voting. They don't know who we're voting for. It can't be relied on. And it's almost as if over the last, say, 40 to 50 years, in fact, since the early 70s, and Sir Edward Heath, just don't go sailing with him, got us into the common market. Remember that? Oh, the common market. So just remember that the politicians lie. They'll just say to you, oh, no, it's just the common market. Hey, look at all these butter mountains. You can have all this butter. You can have all this free milk. You can have all this free stuff. It's all coming from the common market. And then all of a sudden you've got John Major and Norman Lamont standing on number 10 going, we need to get out the exchange rate mechanism. It's bankrupting the country. They didn't tell us they were going to do that. They just told us we were getting free cheese, butter and milk to buy us off. They thought that we were easily bought. And now in 2025, we've absolutely got them on the run. We don't need to do anything because they're scared shitless that in 2029, Farage and Reform's going to be the next government. And they are. Because these idiots got greedy. They got their snouts in the trough. They all got greedy. They were all grifting as hard as they can go. Especially when most of the MPs that are in or around Parliament at the moment, remember the expenses crisis? They were all at it because they could, because nobody had found them out. But now, you and I and everybody else, free thinking, have got them on the run. And if we hadn't had X, or Twitter, or whatever it's called, we would have been battered. We would have been battered, and there would be no free social media. There would be no Farage, almost. I mean, he tried so many times to become an MP. And now Elon's going to give them 100 million. And now the political classes are going, no, you don't fight fair. Yes, we do. Yes, we do, because we've seen right through you. We can vote for whomever we decide. And at the moment, all of the political establishment, all of the political classes, except Reform, cannot be trusted. They can't be trusted at all. And we only have this choice. And the public, from the people I'm speaking to, they're saying roughly exactly the same as me. We can give Reform a go in 2029. With fingers crossed, and Nigel said this in his New Year's speech, or his Christmas speech. Make Britain great again. Now, yeah, okay, he's using the language that the Donald used. But if he's tight with Donald Trump, then he will take the Trump's playbook. And so will the political classes. They'll probably try the same things on Nigel that they tried on Trump and couldn't take him out. But we have the power because we can go into the voting booth and vote for anyone we care to choose. The only thing that I would change is I would make it mandatory for every single adult 18 or over to vote. And if they spoil their vote, they're told, this vote's been spoiled, you can get back into the voting booth, we'll leave it open for the next 3 days, you will vote. Otherwise, we're going to build jails and we're going to put you in there. Funny fucker. So the reason why I'm talking about all of that is I just want you to recognise that you actually have the power. And it would be a waste of me. I've got a couple of things that I want to talk about, but it would be wasteful of me. These 100 questions, as I say, some easy, some semi, because we do like a good semi, and some of them are hard. And I want to save it. So I don't know whether maybe we save it for Sunday. Maybe we get into the quiz and have a bit of a light-hearted thing while everybody then goes back to work and the graft starts again on Monday. rather than just kind of it going off half-cocked. There's a pun there, and a euphemism, and a joke. I'll give you all three. A couple of things that I want to just mention before we go. Things that make you go, So there's 5 being charged with the Liam Payne death. Isn't that interesting? Because some of us were looking at it going, well, we want to know who nicked his Rolex. Was it a Rolex or nicked his watch? We knew there was something off. Something just didn't feel right. But did you notice that none of the newspapers investigated this? None of the newspapers sent any of their reporters across there. It's just a daft lad on gear. He's fallen off his balcony. And 5 people have been charged. Things to make you go, Do you know this slapper, Lily Phillips? She kind of got railroaded by 101 boys. She's been banned from Airbnb. I laughed my cap off because they hired a £1.5 million house, and she was railroaded or ran through. Sorry, is the Gen Z term. She was ran through by 101 men. Streamed it live, and now Airbnb have gone. Yeah, filthy tart. No, you're not doing that. I mean, it's gone on time immemorial, but she's been banned by Airbnb. I couldn't have laughed harder. I'll leave it with you. You can make your own gags up. And have you seen these lazy tarts? The left-wing woke lazy tarts. They're working from home. Well, they're not necessarily working from home. They're working from the bloody beach. There's someone's been logging in for 4 years from Ibiza. I mean, how the bloody hell does that work? So, from a Freedom of Information request, 2,000 council workers are working from the beach. They literally are on their laptop, on the Wi-Fi, ding, 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 ding. Right, I'm off to Space, or I'm off to another club tonight in Ibiza. And we're knocking our pipe out. And these slackers are sitting on the beach doing their council work. I mean, I wish the wokerati would actually pull their heads out of their arses. And that leads us very nicely into whatever happened to council-run care homes. Remember, in every town, in every city, in everywhere, in every borough, in every county, in this sceptred isle, the council would run care homes. That's what I'm saying to you with the NHS. You'll have free at the point of use, A&E, everything else you pay for. So the council-run care homes, it's a money laundering exercise. And I've said to you many times before, corrupt politicians want to get all of the money that this generation of pensioners have, that maybe they've made from property or investing in property or any number of ways and reasons. But this generation of pensioners have made a little bit from property, private businesses, and then the government and the council have gone, you run our care homes. You look after them. You've got the expertise. We don't want to spend money on running these care homes. And now these care homes are absolutely shafting the people that they're looking after. Why? Because if you can't pay your bill in a care home, they'll flog your house. Oh, it means that care homes is a way of fleecing all of the pensioners as much as they can, so that the pensioners can't pass it on. They want you to own nothing and be happy, and not be passed on anything by your forebears, by your grandparents maybe, or your parents. That's the grift. They're making sure every which way you turn that they are taking all of your chattels, your money, your assets off you, so that when you shuffle off and breathe your last, can't pass anything on. And then those underneath, they can't benefit from anything. The families can't benefit, and they're going to struggle paying the bills for the elderly in the care homes. It's really simple if you look through it. I mean, I know it's a bit cynical, but I'm getting to this from what the government have done to the pensioners when they said they wouldn't before they got into power. going to round this off, this particular live off, with Chris Phillip MP. He said that, and this is an MP in the House of Commons, he said that channel crossings are up 29% since the election. They're up 29% since the election. 3 times higher than December last year under the Tories. So as much as free gear, 2-tier Kia, queer as folk Kia, mumble on, there's still more of them coming across. More than under the Tories. And they had record numbers. That's why I say to you, how can you tell when a politician's lying? The lips move. So, I'm not going to give you any of the answers, but there's 100 questions here. I'm going to save them. Maybe we do a special live, so you know we don't mix the serious with the frivolous. But I would like to run a bit of a quiz. I want to, during 25, I want to have a look at it and work out how I can do it so that we can have either a dedicated night or something that we can do together where you can't bloody cheat by going to Google. Yeah, wrong. So I'll save that for later. Thank you to Stuart for the Jaeger hibiscus. Sometimes on these lives, I'll reiterate some of the points that I'm trying to make. And I do that simply because there's a lot of noise in this space. A lot of people are saying certain things, but they're not actually switching the light on. They're just doing it. They're grifting likes and subs and stuff. They're not switching the light on. So forgive me if I repeat myself every so often. It's important that you understand. It's important that you spread the message of what we're doing. English bottle cap. Esther Ranson, that's not life. Exactly. Alan, thank you for your very kind words. Happy New Year to you. Thank you for your support in 2024. I think 2025 is going to be very interesting. I did say at the end of 23, the 24 was going to be 23 was on steroids. I think 25 is going to be different again. I think you've got to watch these snake oil sellers because they're not telling you if that it may mean that you're going to vote them out of power because that's all they're after. Freebies and power and money laundering because politics is corrupt. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Be well. Stay safe. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all your indulgence. And I will see you for the next live on Sunday at 8 o'clock. Thanks for being there tonight. Enjoyed it. Thank you. See you Sunday for the live. More videos coming tomorrow.